happened to the person who killed your child?
I got justice in a court of law, probably because it was in Texas.
Congressman Derek Schmidt delivered one of the most emotional moments of the hearing when he turned directly to angel mothers and asked a heartbreaking question. What happened to the person who killed your child? And the answers they gave were absolutely devastating.
The 5-minute rule with questions for those on the panel. And we are going to start with Mr. Schmidt from the state of Kansas.
My name is Chairman, and I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here and for not just taking your time, but for giving your hearts. We're grateful for your sharing your stories because it makes it real for people who are watching and who will read this record and who understand that this is more than a policy debate. So thank you for your time. Let me start, we'll go this direction. Ms. Wilkerson, let me start with you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch. Where is your home state?
It was Houston, Texas.
In Texas?
I live just outside of Houston, yes.
What happened to the person who killed your child?
I got justice in a court of law, probably because it was in Texas. He could have gotten between 5 and 99 years. He got 99 years, and so that means he has to serve 30 years before he comes up for parole. So we have about another 15 years and before I have to start fighting, letting him out, him getting out of jail. But I am grateful that he got some justice. I know so many parents don't get that.
Ms. Eiley, may I ask you the same question? What happened to the person who killed your child?
Brady and Hallie had their crash happen this past July. We have been pushed off and pushed off. Things take time, we're told. This is just how it works. Be patient. Try to raise your family, try to go about your life, but be patient. So we are still living this justice you speak of.
How old was Brady?
He was 19 and Hallie was 18.
Brady looked like quite an athlete from the photos.
Brady and Hallie were both amazing athletes. Brady turned down scholarships to stay home and support Hallie in her athletics. And they were gonna start college together in about 2 weeks. All of their college belongings are still in their rooms, in our basements, just like they're gonna come back and we're gonna send them off someday. You're right, he looked like an amazing athlete because he was. He's a very special boy to a lot of people that know him and that don't know him. He's made a huge impact.
I saw what looked like football photos. Was he a multi-sport athlete?
Brady played football mainly. He was a state track athlete. He ran relays and threw the shot put. He went 2 years in a row to the state competition, and he weight trained in between times, as you can see by the size of his biceps. He never missed a workout session. He was very self-disciplined. He was very much a rule follower. To die in the way he did, innocently trying to get home, the rule follower in him was screaming at the top of his lungs, "This woman is drunk. She's driving the wrong way. I don't have time to react. Why wasn't she home with her own family, taking care of them, sparing my child?"
Where were they going to go to college?
They were going to go over to South Dakota to Lake Area Tech. He was planning on opening a diesel mechanic shop at our house. We just finished building. Him and his dad had spent the whole summer. They own semis and excavating equipment. They do a lot of dirt work and truck hauling, and he was gonna open that shop to be able to service all of those trucks. Like I said, he was very independently driven, had lots of goals. He had a plan for him and Hallie. It was a little different than what he was anticipating.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ms. Fox, what happened to the person who hit your daughter?
I contacted the voice line victims of immigration crime engagement back in January after our 7th arraignment she took the pleading guilty to Class 5 felony conspiracy to flee the scene of an accident with severe bodily injury. So I filed a report with Voice, and we received news that she has since been deported. February 28th, it was confirmed that she is back in Venezuela.
So each of the three of you had interaction with the criminal justice system after the crimes that injured or killed your children. Since this all happened to each of the three mothers, just quickly, has anybody who engaged in the policies that let those people stay in this country illegally beforehand, has anybody contacted you and expressed sympathy or apologized to you?
No, we've heard from one politician from our local area expressing his sincere condolences, but we've heard nothing about anything that was done wrong in justice as much as Ms. Renee Good has received.
I had several Republicans express their sympathy.
Some described suspects who were never fully punished. Others talked about immigration loopholes, weak enforcement, and systems they believe failed their families completely. The room went silent as grieving mothers explained how their children were killed and how, in their view, justice never truly came afterward. Schmidt's questioning wasn't loud or theatrical. In fact, what made it powerful was how direct and personal it felt. He allowed the mothers to tell their stories in full, and every answer seemed to hit harder than the last. You could see lawmakers listening carefully as the testimony unfolded. The hearing quickly became larger than politics. It turned into a conversation about accountability, border enforcement, and whether the government is doing enough to protect families from preventable crimes. Supporters of stricter immigration policies pointed to the testimony as proof that current enforcement failures have real human consequences. Critics, meanwhile, argue that emotional cases should not be used to define broader immigration policy. But for the parents sitting in that room, this wasn't about political messaging. These were mothers talking about children they will never see again. And regardless of where people stand politically, that pain was impossible to ignore. Schmidt repeatedly returned the focus to the families themselves instead of turning the moment into a partisan speech. That's part of why the exchange resonated so strongly online afterward. Viewers weren't reacting to a political gotcha moment. They were reacting to raw grief and emotional testimony. By the end of the hearing, the atmosphere in the room had completely changed. What started as a policy discussion became a deeply personal reminder that behind every headline and every political argument are real families living with permanent loss.